I don't expect anything from them.
Right.
I'm a little surprised that in all of Western New York you didn't get like one progressive that got in under the wire. But New York, yeah, it's a shit lib city. New York and LA are the shittiest of the shit lib homeworlds. This is the Borg homeworld of shit libs. I went, it was very sad for me. I usually, I ran theaters for many years. I had my own theaters. And one of my theaters that I helped build closed the other night because times have changed. So, I went, and I don't usually go to those environments because I'm so saddened by what the art scene even has become. It's just a bunch of shit lips, man. I mean, it's like going to a PTA meeting in Scarsdale. These
Oh,
people are supposed to be freaking artists, man. They're going to me because somebody said, my old
real
partner
artists,
was
they
like,
don't want to live there. That's the thing.
well,
Like,
that's the problem. Like you always had a lot of PMCs in that scene because of the vicissitudes of being an artist and what it demands. It's a lot easier if you got that trust fund money going. So there were always a lot of those people, but now it's only those people. That's it. That is it is they like literally it was like sitting down at Thanksgiving with your lib relatives talking to these artists because
that's
my
unfortunate.
it was sad, man. My old partner mentioned I had a political podcast, so a person was like, "So who you voting for?" And I
Um,
said, "I'll probably do what I did last time. I'm going to write in Dave Chappelle." And you could see like they had no idea how to process that. And then the guy was like, "Well, but you have to vote for Biden or
because
Trump
otherwise,
wins." Like those kind of politics from artists? You
yeah,
call yourself a fucking artist? Well, that's why places like this are closing because in a moment when people need to get together and hear their feelings and their grief and their grievances aired by artists who understand their concerns at a moment when they need you the most, you're giving them MSNBC. They can stay home and put on cable for that kind of a point of view.
You know,
Um,
you
uh,
bring up a good point, and the one thing I wanted to interject is that, and this is particularly for you, India, is that when you look at the statistics now, we know that Trump is not the answer, but the fact that almost a quarter of the black vote in this country wants him to be president again, that tells me isn't so much about whether they actually are supporting Trump, but that they've had enough of buying the bullshit that the Democratic Party
yeah.
is selling. Like they're not buying it anymore. And yes, it's much more so with black men than with black women, but I think that will evolve over time. It usually will. But we are reaching a breaking point. Like people are just not going to go along with this. Yeah, you're going to run into people, and maybe it's a generational thing, perhaps, where they're like, "Oh, you got to vote for Biden because Trump." No. Things have to get really fucking bad before people start to say it's time for a change. But there are tens of millions of people, probably over 100 million people in this country right now who can't make ends meet. And if they can't, they can just barely get it done. That is not a functioning democracy. That is a failed experiment. And at some point, it's going to break. Like the dam's going to break. There's a reason why somebody as at times off the wall as RFK is polling at 25%. That's not a mistake. And he could be that close from being a viable presidential candidate as an independent.
We're definitely in a moment of national reckoning, right? Where we went through 2020, and I think that trying to defeat Trump overshadow all the underlying racial justice issues that were happening, right? And we were promised certain things. Student debt cancellation, this Rebuild Better Act, and this infrastructure money, and all of these things that were supposed to repair all of these harms. And we've not seen that come to fruition, right? So for a person like me, who's solidly working class, Black woman, single mother, queer, I don't feel any safer,
Right.
or any more secure
Joe
under a
Biden
Biden administration than I did under Trump. And I'm like, that's being 100, right? I'm still paycheck to paycheck. Reproductive rights are under attack. LGBTQ rights are under attack. Like all of these things still exist. So what incentive do I have to vote blue no matter who when we don't have any tangible results of all of the work and effort we put in to a candidate that was just lackluster? We didn't want him to begin with. That's who we settled for because we were told, well, we have to vote Democrat to defeat fascism. But where'd that get us?
Fascism.
Yep.
But with blue, it's a blue fascism instead of a red fascism, I guess.
Right? We're still in a constant state of war.
Yeah.
We've got an $880 billion defense budget.
Yeah, it's gotten worse under Biden. Then all of it has actually gotten worse under Biden.
And the difference now,
right? It's worse.
It's worse. The difference now. So I taught at a local university in the fall semester. The difference now is that people between 18 and 35 are not getting their news from MSNBC and CNN.
Good.
Right.
They're getting it from TikTok. They're getting it from peers. They're getting it from straight from the source. And they're not buying the bullshit anymore. Joe Biden has a serious fucking problem. And the reason why they did that bullshit pardoning everybody with cannabis convictions and things like
that. And of course it was a milquetoast way that they did it. What a shock.
Yeah. I mean, that's the least you could do, right? So like when his numbers are low and he's asking his staffers, what are we going to do to get my approval ratings up? That was the only thing they could think of. Nah, cancel student debt. Do that. Think about reparations. Do that. Put real money and real investments into communities. Do that. Call for a ceasefire. The number one thing he could do if he wants to be reelected is call for a ceasefire. It's overwhelmingly, no matter Democrat or Republican, people are calling for a ceasefire.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you pro-Hamas. It doesn't make you pro-IDF. It makes you pro-humanity. Stop freaking funding wars to kill innocent women and children and people. It just, I don't get it. It makes so much sense to me, and I just don't know why the people who are in charge can't figure that out.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.